Miller Highlight's going to do a box opening of the new Fortress Ultra Quiet 26-gallon air compressor. Okay, Miller Highlights here, going over a new compressor. I was looking at the 27-gallon Fortress, seemed fairly quiet, and I noticed next to it I seen this 26-gallon at 4.5 CFM and 175 psi versus the 200 psi that was on the other unit. And for my needs, I don't need the 200 psi. Even the 175 psi is plenty. Most average tools you're going to use 90, maybe max 120 psi. Usually when you get up into the higher pressures, you're using a bigger coupler, a 3/8 coupler or something to that effect, and that's more industrial. But for home use, automotive use, um, you know, their standard couplers are plenty. It comes with a nice full roll cage. It's all inset and protected. Um, it's got two brass couplers. I'm not a big fan of brass couplers. I'll tell you why, because the brass wears out and sometimes it will reduce or eliminate your air. Sometimes I've had that, so I like to get steel couplers. Easy to change out, but these seem to be okay for now. They're pretty good. They're universal couplers, so they'll take the industrial or the automotive type couplers in there. So you can run two hoses off it. When you pull it out of the box, it's pretty much assembled the way it is, with the exception of the wheels are in the box and the little handle here for your hose. And that's the only two things you have to assemble. Other than that, it's ready to go. It's oilless, um, and runs 207, or I'm sorry, 175 psi. It's supposed to be 69 dBA operation, which is pretty darn quiet, and has a brushless 4-pole motor on it. So there's basically no maintenance on that whatsoever. It's got the nice comfort grid handle, but the center of gravity, generally you're going to grab it up here when you move it anyway. It is a little bit on the heavy side. Uh, Comparatively, not really, but I mean, in general, it's a little on the heavy side there. Um, Comes with a nice heavy-duty power cord with a little clip that clips on, and it includes the cord with it. Has two 8-inch rubber tires. It has your ball valve, drain valve in the bottom, so you can drain your water out. It's a good idea to drain your water out periodically in moist areas. Where I live, it's pretty dry, so it's not that critical. And overall, first impressions, pretty impressive. We're going to start up, see how quiet it really is, and get a good idea as to if it lives up to its name. The quality itself seems to be pretty darn good so far that I can see. It seems to be sturdy. It doesn't seem to be cheaply built. I noticed a couple of the nuts were loose, but I think that's because you can switch the handle from one side to the other, so I think they just left them loose just on general purpose there. There's nothing that it really holds on to. So let's start her up, see what she sounds like. Okay, let's get an extension cord and plug this in, see how quiet it is. Oh, nothing happening. Oh, no. Got a switch on the side here. You got to flip the switch. And that's it. That's pretty darn quiet. I can hear myself talk, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this unit. Because they boast how quiet it is. The last unit I saw that was this quiet was up in the $2,000, $2,400 range. So to me, this is quite a buy, and this is quite something. I got tired of the air compressors that sound like a goat going bah, but this is truly quiet, and it's going to be a little slow on filling up pressure there, and it's got a lot to fill up. It's 26 gallons, 4.5 CFM, and but that's not actually the input going into the pressure. This is actually output free CFM on the pressure, and that has a lot to do with the coupler size and the amount of pressure going into the tank. One of the other things I noticed, this is your main pressure side here. As it's filling up, that's what's inside the tank itself. On the right side here is where you actually adjust the pressure for whatever application you're doing. So if you're doing painting, for example, you can bring this way down to 5-7 pounds PSI, or if you're doing automotive, you can crank this way up to 90 plus. Generally, for most automotive air tools, 95, 100 PSI is plenty. You don't need to go beyond that. You're just damaging, or not damaging, but just running a safety risk with your hose if your hose isn't rated for 175 PSI. And some of the hoses are not, most of them are. So it's just a good range, between 90 and 100 PSI. I usually run about 90 PSI normally. But I'm pretty impressed. That's quiet. I can talk over this, and I'm right next to it. When you adjust your pressure up to pressure, push in on the knob there, and that locks it into place. So I'm pretty darn impressed for Harbor Freight. They've actually stepped up their quality. In the past, I was very reluctant to buy anything from Harbor Freight, and I'm pretty impressed with this purchase. The price on this was $379 today on Mother's Day, and I thought that was a very fair price, very reasonable. Here you go.